I'm starting off some early tomatoes today. You're going to need to sow your seeds in containers and grow these plants on indoors. Don't try and grow them outside in your greenhouse at the minute because they'll just not survive. It's too cold. But if you want to get some started now, that's not a problem. Any time during March is a good time to start your tomatoes, because then you've got time to get them to a really good size before it's time to pop them outside. And we can't do that until at least mid-May. So we've got quite a while to go yet, so we should be able to get some really good sized tomato plants. We'll grow them in cells and then we'll take them out and we'll transfer them into 9cm pots. That size that we always use. And they can grow to a really good size just in that little pot. I wouldn't start off any cucumbers just yet though, because they grow quite a lot quicker than tomato plants, so you'll struggle to keep those indoors without having to constantly repot them. And also, if they don't get enough light, you're going to get really long leggy plants. And it's the same for your tomato plants. So once they germinate, you're going to need to provide them with some light. If you just stand them on your kitchen windowsill, they're still going to get a bit leggy, so it's not ideal. So if you can't give them adequate lighting to grow them right now, then I suggest waiting until next month and start them then, along with your cucumbers at the same time. But I'm starting some early ones off today, and I'm not doing loads because I don't need loads this year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sow a tray of 12 plants, but I only want 6, and I'm only doing 12 to guarantee that I get the 6 that I'm after. And then a little bit later in year, I'll also do some more tomatoes, but there'll be ones for baskets for cherry tomatoes. The ones I'm looking at today are called Moneymaker, and it's a really versatile tomato plant. So if you're just starting out growing this year, this will be a good one for you to start with, because you can grow these in a greenhouse or outdoors. And obviously by outdoors, I mean once you've passed your last frost date. So if you haven't got a greenhouse but want to grow some fresh homegrown tomatoes, try some of these Moneymakers. You can also grow them in containers, but they'll not grow as big as they would if you put them in ground. You'll just be trimming those back to get a bushier plant, which we'll do later on in season as well. But you will still get something. So whether it's greenhouse growing, outdoor growing or container growing, Moneymaker is a good one for you to try. You get a good yield from these plants, and they're also quite disease resistant. They're not resistant to aphids however, or blossom end rot. And if you do get that, we've got a way that you can fix both those problems later on in season. But it's not very often, if ever at all, I've experienced blossom end rot when growing these. You tend to get that mainly when you're growing plum tomatoes. I don't know why, but they always seem to be more susceptible to blossom end rot. So things like Moneymaker, Garden's Delight and Alicante seem a little bit more resistant to it. Just before we do those seeds, I'm just going to show you this plant, if I can pick it up. That's a rhubarb plant that we had in garden. And I decided this year, because we're doing a lot of container stuff, to dig it up and put it in a big container like that. And when I dug it up, there was no green on it whatsoever. It was just the root that I dug out of ground and planted in there. And now we've got rhubarb growing already, which is brilliant. We also received a few donations to the channel as well over the last few days, which I can't thank you enough for. Massively appreciated when people donate to this channel. We always put the money back into this channel to pay for all those compost, seeds and trays, things like that. So it really does help us out. So thank you very much to Tom's Yard, Edwina Maddock, Charmaine Rondon, Dawn Powell and Kevin Jarman. We'll definitely be putting that money to good use over the next few weeks. So thank you so much for your generosity. So back to these tomatoes. As I said, I'm only going to be growing 12 plants at the moment. So one of these is perfect. Sieved compost as well. We don't want big stones or pieces of wood in there. Remember, they're only going to be tiny plants when they first come up. So anything we can do to help them on the way is what we need to do. So I've just loosely filled that. Then I'm compressing it down with same size packs. That just gets it all done in one go. And then we'll top it back off. So now we'll get some seeds sown. Very quick job to do. But really happy to be doing this. early in season to get things underway. And these tomato seeds are quite small, as you're going to see. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop a couple of these in each cell. Doubles chance of germination. If 3 go in, I'm not bothered. Just want to make sure we get at least 6 plants out of this. And by doing it this way, we're pretty much guaranteed that. You'll find that your cherry tomato seeds are even smaller. Drop 3 on there, no problem. So we've got a couple of seeds in each cell now. And all I'm going to do with those is just push them down with this. It's just an old piece of wood. Don't push them too deep though. Ideally around 1 centimetre. They're only tiny little plants once they've germinated. So as you would with your pepper seeds, not too far down in that compost. Something like that. Perfect. And then I'm just going to give them a quick covering using a colander. I can see those seeds disappearing as I'm doing this. So I know they've got a really nice fine covering. And then they're going to very easily poke through once they've germinated. So if we then just go over the top of that, that's all those seeds buried. And then we'll give them a quick watering as well. Make sure we've got plenty of moisture in there. And you could put a bit of cling film over the top as well if you wanted. And as quick as that, we've got us plants on way. As first tomato plants of 2024, and we will be doing some more a little later. Maybe a month or so down the road when it's warmed up a bit and it's a bit brighter. Don't do everything all at once. You're not going to have enough room indoors to provide them with enough light to stop them from becoming weak, leggy plants. And a bit later on, we'll be working on those baskets for his cherry tomatoes. So if you want to start your plants off now, and you can accommodate them indoors with that little bit of extra light and warmth, then start yourself some off between now and end of month. If you can't do that, wait until mid-April. And then do your cucumbers and your tomato plants all at the same time. If you want to see how these plants get on and what else we're going to be doing over the next few weeks, please hit that subscribe button, press that notifications bell, and I look forward to seeing you on the next one. Take care. We'll go and put these somewhere warm.